on, buddy? This is John Bain. I want to welcome you to Scrap Mechanics Survival Machines. You guys are doing pretty good today. I'm doing good myself. Don't want to forget to remind you all to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you can be here when stuff happens, because here we go. I'm going to start showing you guys how I build some of the stuff, for those of you that are interested. Today, we're going to go over the irrigation system. Had a lot of requests on how to do it, and they wanted to see videos of it, so I've got no problem doing that. I do want to let you know that I've been doing some testing and plan to do advanced versions of this, testing with pumps and stuff like that. But for now, this is a rather simple setup, get you up and going. It works with different heights of terrain, varying heights of terrain in your gardens. So if you're on like a hill or something, this will work as well. And what I've got here in the box is what you need. Everything here is level 1 except for the controller. It's level 2. You have a switch, 2 logic gates, 1 controller, 2 sensors, 2 pistons, a water cannon, and some source of water container holderness. I've got 2 blocks in here. What you see here is aesthetics. I like how it looks. It reminds me kind of like a greenhousey kind of thingy going on. We could probably glass it in or something like that. But right here, we're using 2 blocks. We've got wood blocks and we have glass blocks. The only reason I have glass blocks, I just want to differentiate between the regular just structural pieces and the blocks that are actually triggering the sensor that's going to be passing over it. I guess I can show you right quick how it works in action. I think I've got water. We'll check the... do I? Yep, there we go. Yeah, we have water. Pretty much click of a button. It hits every time it goes across one of the blocks. It sensors and it pretty much triggers your pieces. So we're shooting water. And then when it gets to the end, the final sensor turns off the trigger for the water gun so you don't double water stuff, wasting water if you're in a situation where you got to port water up. And it also resets it back, and it's clean. It's clean. I like clean. Anyway, so that's what we're going to go ahead and get started with here. As you can see here with the the connector tool, you can see that we have some things hidden under the ground. I like aesthetics as much as I can. What we have here is the 2 logic gates needed, and then on this end we have a controller. Inside of these, we'll get into what they specifically look like, but inside of those, we'll have the setups going on. It's not too bad. One thing you got to make sure is when you're building, that whenever you're using any type of pieces, you want to be considered part of the structure, that it attaches to the specific structure blocks. You don't want to have it freestanding, or you won't be able to connect it in case you have those kinds of problems. Anyway, let's get started. Like I said, like I was a minute ago. Okay. Anyway, let's go right here. Let's go right here. And we'll just go ahead and just make this go up like, we're going to do some random type sizes here. So we have a front end on this. As you can see, this is what this is here. It's just for aesthetics again. I made a spot on it for a switch. Nothing much on that. Then we branch off the side of this pretty simply. Not too bad like that. And then we're going to end up having to do... Actually, I can do this instead for you. Instead of adding all the extra little crap, we'll just do it straight up. Put this here. Put this here. Put this here. Then we'll put ourselves a block on this. So we'll go ahead and just do a 4 block just because, and see if we can find a good position. Now, will work for the way I have it set up. I set it by a 5x6, which is 30. I plan to do, you can do like 20 or whatever. You can get larger too with more pistons. It just sometimes the physics in the game is like to get a little wonky with pistons regardless. And since this is on a structure, you can't really pick it up and reset it. You have to take it apart, put it together. Even restarting games, sometimes it doesn't work that well. All right, if you look over here, I have a single block here where it's attached to. We'll just follow that nomenclature. I just want to make it a little easier to see. And I like having the little nub on top facing like that. I'm going to clean up the sides like this, and then we'll go ahead and pull out our guy, and we'll just go like this, which is guy, aka lift. And let's go on top of this, and you need to put 1 sensor facing up. There we go. We got the start of it up. There you go. Good to go. There we have it. So now we just got a little bit more to do, and it's not really that bad. As you can see, the sensor here is right above, so we're going to be building our beams across. Plots are 3x3. So we just need to make sure that we have, once we get the first nub set up, we have everything spacing out by 3s. Actually, this is low. There we go. And then we got to line it up on the top, which is the 3rd block. There we go. And then we'll just bring this out across. We'll just go out all the way and figure out how we want to clean it up. And then what I'll do, like I said, I'm going to use the glass block for our sensor blocks. And we're just going to go ahead and leave the spaces in here. As you can see, we have our space here. So every 3rd one, we've got 1 up. So it's the same thing here. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And we have 1 more here. So and that should be the end of our line. And I'm going to go ahead and complete these rows just like this one, and we'll come right back. All right, as you can see, we've got it set up. Again, it's in spacings of 3 all the way across the board. It's squared out. So you have 2 spaces over here, and you have 2 spaces in between here. Every third one away is another one. Except for the very last one, this is where you're going to put your other sensor. And make sure it's just facing down. This needs to be turned to switch, and it only needs to be 1 range. And the same with this one. This one only needs to be 1 range, but it needs to be a button, which is default. So default setting, putting that sensor on, it just chills. So this one's 1 range, it's a switch. 1 range, it's a button, just in case you're wondering. So there you go. You've got the basic setup for it, the detector to pick up, to let the system know that, hey, it's time to shoot water. It's time to shoot water. So next things to set up will be our logic gate. I'm going to go and move you. Excuse me, Mr. Cookbot. I'm sorry about that. We're going to go ahead, and I would like to put mine underground and out of the way. We'll put them together, though. Let's see. Is this actually touching? It does not. We'll throw in a couple pieces here just to have it to where it's touching the structure. And we'll pull out you, and we have the logic gates out. Here and here, and then face this one up. I'm weird like that. We got them faced up there. So that's where we got there. Now, the first one needs to be, we're going to make this one our first one, the left one, and we need to change this to XOR. What's going to happen is we're going to have our switch right here, and it's going to be running to that along with the final sensor. So whenever the sensor activates, if you have the switch turned on and the sensor is, you don't have both on. That's pretty much what happens. This thing will work. All right, welcome back. It's daytime, and I got some stuff together here. We're going to go ahead and put in our logic system and our controller. It's pretty simple. Make sure whenever you place it, it is touching a part of the structure. You can see that, and that's going up here, and that way it'll be able to get connected. We'll also put it over here and face up, because I kind of like that. All right, so what we got? We have the first one is going to be XOR. XOR is a logic gate that gives a true output when the number of true inputs is odd. So what we're going to do is connect our switch here, and then our sensor in the back that has been changed to a switch as well. So what that means is that whenever both of these are on, right now one is on, just the switch, and it's activated. But whenever we use this, and it starts it up, it will turn it off. So, if this is connected through our system with the controller, whenever they're both going in, there's off, that means it'll stop it and it'll make it come back through. All right, now we're going to go ahead and set up the second logic gate. We're going to take the XOR and connect it to the AND. And then from the AND gate, which this one is, that's the generic default setting whenever you set one down, and it's going to stay in AND. And when you get this, we're connected to the water cannon, and then also the other sensor we've got is going to go to it. So what this does... Right now, we have that sensor activated and the switch activated, so our first one is not. When we turn this off, what is happening is that this sensor is sending an output of true to this guy, the AND gate. We also have a block above, this block above the sensor here is activating the sensor, so both inputs are on, so it gives an AND, which sends a signal to our water cannon to shoot. So as the water cannon moves, whenever it's in a block without one of these, it will not shoot water. It'll stay consistent. And whenever this gets to the very end of our track and activates the switch, and it starts coming back, it will deactivate the water from actually shooting whenever it resets. So that's a pretty standard, pretty simple thing here. And we also got the XOR going to the controller. So when it gets to the end and deactivates, the controller turns off and it resets and goes back like it's supposed to. So I have the first row already set up. It's set up to go the maximum length of the piston will allow, then back to 0, maximum length, back to 0, back to maximum length. What this does is we're starting off in a 0 position, which counts as 1, and then divide this by 3 because our soil plots are 3 wide. You have 5 more, so that's the row of 6 we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going the length of that, holding, then coming back, holding, and back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth, so on. So we have, let's call this our width taken care of. Now we're going to do our length of it next, which we have 5 rows. So what we need to do is actually work out that what our spacing is going to be for that, which is in multiples of 3. I hope I'm explaining this well and not being too tongue-tied here. So as this row is going to the end of it, we need to make sure it stays, the width of it stays like this. We need to make sure the length of it stays on the same row. So once it reaches the end, we need to go ahead and transition over to the next row, which is 3 away. And then it's going to start there, and then it's going to come back to the beginning of 3, and then it needs to transition to the next one, which goes to 6. Then it goes down, and then it goes to the next one, transition to 9. And then this one comes all the way back, and then over here we transition to 12. And then when it gets to the end of it, we can just leave it the rest of the way it is. And I'm going to go ahead and change this to fast. So what this will do is it will follow the track, and you can see each time it hits a new block, it'll go ahead and light this up. And this is when the water cannon would shoot. And it's following the track. And I use higher level controllers. This is bare minimum for what you need to get it done. I like it just to get done a little bit quicker. It can handle any speed that you throw on this bad boy too. Oh, so we might want to get rid of that so it doesn't mess up. And then it goes here. And it goes all the way through to the end. And then it's going to hit that and come back. And if you look, the AND gate for the water cannon never lights up because the XOR is turned off. And it will go ahead and reset. And basically, that's pretty much the setup. All we need to do now is just take the water tank. Let's just put it over here for the sake of putting it here. And let's grab some water. It'll take 30 of them since we have 30 plots. And we could actually safely hook this up directly to the water cannon. Because it's not going to go off because it's not being activated because it's not there. And now that it's back at the start, we'll go ahead and click the button. And go over. And then when it reaches the end, it'll shoot. And it'll reset. And it won't shoot any more water. We still have water in the bucket. So we know it's working and everything's in play. And that is the basic irrigation system we use. I apologize if I got a little tongue twisted here and there. I don't usually do videos like these. So as we do more of them, I'll do my best to be more in clarifications. Also, if you want to, you can join the Discord. There's a lot of helpful people in there. I sometimes chat in as well. So we can try to help you guys out if you have any issues with it. But I feel like this is probably about the best I could do explaining it at the moment in time. And that's what we got. So hopefully you guys like it. If you guys like stuff like this, I'll probably do the Scorpion Miner front end next. And we'll just go from there. But either way, let me know what you're thinking down below. Got any questions, comments, all that good stuff. And as always, thank you so very much. And you all have a good night.